In today's video, we're going to look at how to modify the input screen setting. It is under Inventory 1, Sales, and New Sales. This applies to other menus as well. By modifying the input screen setting, you can decide what kind of elements to put in or delete any unwanted elements, or even switch the display names. Let us begin. Press Option, Input Screen Setting. Choose Default. You can always modify the current setting or add new templates. Let us look at the left side first. You can always change the name of this set template, and you can choose which ID can view this particular template. By clicking on the exception setting, you can choose the do not allow to not allow certain users or even groups. By setting this user as not allowed, this user cannot use this screen setting. The next one is the default setting. By clicking on the default setting, you can quickly adjust the settings for the top and bottom sections. The automatic recommendation relation setting feature allows you to be automatically recommends you the items. So when you select the same location 10 times, it will give you the recommendation of the transaction type. So you can choose the fields over here as well. Next one is code detail info setting. By setting it to use, you can set it up so that you can find out more about the customer vendor or the item. Here, I will be using the customer vendor to use and item to do not use. The middle button setup allows you to choose the buttons that appear in the middle, and if you do not need something, then you put it in button not in use section. You can also switch up the partitions so that the top part can be switched into 4 spots. If you like, you can add more things by hovering over the field and clicking on Add. You can select the text type for short references and long text type for really long remarks. If you do not like the current display name, you can manually switch it up by clicking on the setup and switching the name. Under text type, you can choose the display name as something else, or even set the default to bring in code information. Select load info and company name, or like a phone number. You can also add items underneath the bottom section as well. However, take note that additional types are not available as a search condition. Let us save. Now, take note that the new sales input screen setting has been switched. And if we go back to the other ID, but before we go back to the other ID, let us test this out. So by clicking on the customer vendor, the phone number of the customer vendor is brought and the detail info is shown here as well. However, when we try to make a new sales with a restricted input screen setting, we can see that we cannot choose the default. Rather, we can only play with the mobile version. So this is how it works. So once you have filled in the information, you can go to the sales list and use the search feature, of which you can search using the remarks and phone.